guys, and welcome back to another episode of Economics. And of course, today we're going to continue our study on the theory of demand. Basically, we're going to be looking at the types of demand that we have. Okay, we're going to be looking at 4 types of demand. Before we talk about that, know that this tutorial is brought to you by the O3 Schools JAMB CBT Practice app. If you want to pass your exam at once, okay, which should be your major focus, get the app immediately. But before we talk about the app, let us see a question, a JAMB pass question from the O3 School JAMB app. This is a 2006 question, number 16. It says here that derived demand is normally used with reference to derived demand is normally used with reference to A says superior goods, B says inferior goods, C says the cost of production, D says the factors of production. Okay, so the answer is there, it's looking at you and you're looking at it. Okay, we'll come back to this question and answer many more questions at the end of the class and not before, because at O3 School here, we believe in giving you value first. We believe, say, once we don't teach you, okay, every writing will be easy for you. So please open your heart to learn and download the application. Okay, if your focus is that you want to pass your JAMB at once, that app has all you need. All the past questions for all the subjects, classroom feature where you can study as if you're in the class with lecture notes structured according to the JAMB syllabus. Question search feature, just like the way we search for this question right now, just search for types of demand. You see questions on that types of demand coming out for you to answer. Then there's a UTME mock challenge every Saturday for all students that are writing JAMB for this year. That mock challenge, you compete with your mates. You win prizes, get used to JAMB past question, get used to JAMB likely exam questions, familiarize yourself with how JAMB sets question, okay? And then you see your result released every Saturday after the mock, after each mock that you take, okay? And then, of course, we share prizes, but please, you have to ensure that you participate in all of those mocks, okay? So please, all of this and more for just a small activation price. Pay the price, activate it, and start immediately. Okay, all right. If you want to activate your app, send a message to this number on WhatsApp after downloading. Go to Play Store first of all, download it. Send a message. If you want the app on your computer system, also send a message to this number on WhatsApp. Okay, now let us begin with types of demand. Number 1, I've said there are 4 types of demand we're going to consider. Number 1 is derived demand. Okay, we have number 2, composite demand. Number 3, competitive demand. Then number 4, joint or complementary demand. They are all very easy. So just open your heart, enjoy yourself in this class. Okay, now for the first one, derived demand, we also call it circuitous demand. Okay, we say it's the demand for a commodity, not for its immediate consumption. It is the demand for a commodity, not for its immediate, not be say make you just quickly chop palm. Okay, not for its immediate consumption, but for further production. Okay, but for further production. That means for this derived demand, all right, examples of things under this derived demand are things that we order for, not because we really need them, not because they are the final thing that we need. It's because maybe they are going to do something for us that will bring what we need. Okay, it is not for direct consumption. That's what derived demand is. So you derive what? You derive something from what? From demanding that kind of what? That kind of service. Okay. For example, it's what? Demand for factors of production. For example, labor. Let's say you want to clear a farm. All right. You see that, oh, this is 2 hectares of land. I cannot clear it myself. Let me hire all these laborers, okay, these outside guys, okay, that have strength, that this is their professional in this work. Let them come and let me pay them to help me clear this whole place. I want to plant a particular good. Okay, now those laborers there, it's not as if you like them so much and you want to dash them money. Okay, that's not the reason why you went to hire them. The reason why I went to hire them because they will clear for you, they will plant for you, and then at the end of a particular period, you'll be harvesting things that you will sell. You can see. So it's not just one direct thing. So demand for factors of production is an example of what? Of derived or demand. Okay? We say it is the demand for a commodity, not for its immediate consumption, okay? But for what? For further production. E.g. demand for factors of production. Example, like I said, is what is labor. Okay, then another example is what is crude oil. Okay, crude oil. All right. So now for crude oil, all right, for crude oil, you can what? Get other petroleum products from crude oil. You can get what? Our gasoline. You can get gasoline. Okay, let me take this derived demand. All right. So I've said an example is labor. Okay, and what? In fact, demand for factors of production, there are examples of derived demand. So labor, even your land, if you buy land now, it's not because you like land that you want to just go and lie down on. Okay, because of what the land can do for you. You can build your house on the land. Okay, you can even decide to even what plant things on the land that will what grow crops. Okay, if you are planting, if you are building a house there, you know that maybe you want to build it for rentage, then it will bring in money for you later. So derived for factors of production is an example of derived demand. Okay, land, labor, even capital, okay, and entrepreneurship, the factors of production. The demand for factors of production is derived demand. Okay, we say example is labor. Then number two, we say crude oil also. Crude oil is what's an example because you can get other petroleum products from what? From it. This is what? Gasoline. You can get gasoline. You can get diesel. Okay, you can get fuel. Okay, another what? Petroleum product from what? From crude oil. Okay, so these are an example of what now? What is it called? Of what derived demand. Another example is transport. Transport. Okay. So somebody just wakes up in the morning and what? Go and enter a bus, okay, without any plan than to just enjoy himself, his or herself on the bus. No, okay, that person is either entering that bus or entering his own car, okay, to get to what? His particular place of work, okay, not only working there, working to earn money to feed his family, okay, so you are deriving what? Something specific, okay, from demanding for that kind of commodity. So that's what we call derived demand. These are all examples, but the demand for factors of production, okay, is also called what? It's also called derived demand. Please take note, all right, that the graph, okay, that the curve for what? For derived demand is a what? Is a negative sloping what? Curve, okay? That means what? It slopes what? Downward from left to right. This is what they call. Where is the price? Here is what? QD, okay? The graph, the curve for what? For derived demand is what? Is negative or sloping, okay? It slopes downward from left to right. Just take note of what? Of that. All right, so now let us see the second type of demand, which is composite demand. And we said composite demand is the demand for commodity that serves various purposes. So composite demand is the demand for commodity that serves what? Several purposes, not just one. For example, electricity is an example. Electricity, vibe on a frequency. Yeah. Okay, so with electricity, you can play music, you can on your speaker and blast music in your house. Okay, that is one. With your electricity, you can use the what? To refrigerate your drinks. That is two. With electricity, you can use to watch what? Television. That is three. With electricity, you can use them in your place of work to what? To power your air conditions and your other electronic generally. Okay. With your electricity, you can use them to what? For your machine, industrial machines that you want to use to work, like your yam pounder. And so electricity has a lot of uses. Okay, so composite demand is the demand for a commodity that serves several purposes. Okay, so an example is electricity. Another example is cassava. Okay, cassava, you can use it to what? To make garri. Some of you use cassava to make bobozi. Some of you use cassava to make eba. Some of you use cassava to do several things. Okay, so anything, okay, any commodity that serves various purposes, okay, is what? We're talking about composite demand. The demand for commodities that serve several or various purposes are composite what demand. Another example is milk. Milk. For milk, you can use it for what? For cheese. You can use it for yogurt. Okay, you can use it for cream. You can use it for margarine. Okay, so that is what milk is also an example of what of a composite or demand for commodity that serves various purposes. Please make sure you have your notes so that you can go over them and then take the examples and add to the notes. I want you to be following so that you have something to read. Okay, the O2 School JAMB app also, although it has what most of these notes, all right, it has all of these notes. not exactly these notes that separate. Okay, these ones are generated them myself so that you can easily use to what to study and completely understand. All right, so please download the application. Make sure you activate it. Activate it immediately. You do not have time. You do not have time. Before you know, JAMB has started. All right, so please go and download the application. Activate it immediately. Okay, pay the price. I know what I'm telling you. So now let us see the third example. The third type of demand we'll consider is, of course, the competitive demand. Competitive demand. Okay, and we'll say it, competitive demand is the demand for close substitutes. For close substitutes. Okay, it is the demand for what? For close substitutes, for goods or for commodities that have close substitutes. That is what competitive demand is. Okay, it's the demand for goods that have close substitutes. Okay, the demand for commodities that have close substitutes. We have many examples. What do you mean by substitute? That means that if this one is too expensive, okay, you have another option. Okay, instead of taking this out, why don't I buy this product? Okay, so you have two products A and B that serve the same function, that serve the same purpose. Okay, since this one is too expensive, let me go for this one. Since this one is too cheap, maybe it's not too, okay, let me go for this one. So that is what? That is competitive or demand. Example is JIC and hypo. Your JIC and your hypo. All right, so this is an example of of competitive or demand. Okay, they serve the same function. Okay, if one is too expensive, what do? You go to the other one. There are so many other examples, like what you have on milk, Milo, and Bonvita. Milo and Bonvita. These are what? Goods that have close substitutes. Okay, so if Milo no dey, we can start to buy Bonvita. Okay, if there's no JIC, we can start to buy what? Hypo. Okay, also let's say MTN SIM and Glow SIM. Okay, this is also another example of what? Of competitive or demand. They have a close substitute. Since MTN network in my area is not working well, okay, let me go and buy Glow SIM now. Okay, it's as simple as A, B, C. Other example, there's another example, Omo and Viva Plus. All right, so if there's no Omo, you can start to go for Viva Plus or Ariel. Okay, goods that have close substitutes. Those are what now what we call under, they are all categorized under competitive demand. Okay, there are so many other examples like Apple and Samsung. All right, they have what? Close substitutes. The other example is what? Mr. Biggs and Chicken Republic. Your Mr. Biggs, okay, and Chicken Republic. So another example of what? Of competitive or demand. All right. Also have what? Let's say Toyota, your car, Toyota and Honda. This is another example of what? Of goods that have what? Close substitute. All right. So all of this, even your search engine like Google, okay, like Gmail, your Gmail and Yahoo Mail, is also what? An example of what? Of competitive or demand. So goods that have what? Is the demand for what? For commodities that have a close or substitute. Close substitute. Okay, that means if one is not available, you can start to go for the other one. That's what substitute means. Okay, so if one is too expensive, okay, I can start to what? To go for the other one. Now let us now see. Let us proceed. They say it is demand for two goods A and B, such that an increase in the price of A will lead to what? To an increase in the quantity demanded of what? Of B. All right. So, for example, JIC and hypo now. JIC increase their price. Let's say from 200 naira to 500 naira. Hypo did not increase price. Let's say both of them were even 200. This one was 200. This one was let us say 197. Okay. So because JIC came before hypo now, let us use that example. JIC came before hypo. So JIC was being sold at 200 naira for one. Okay, Apple was selling at 190, but people were still going for JIC because the price difference is not too high. Okay, so now JIC now took their price suddenly to 500 naira. Apple did not even increase their own. Even if Apple increased their own to 300, okay, it will lead to what? To increase what? Quantity demanded of what? Of hypo. So far, hypo is even still good. All right, so the quantity demanded of hypo will increase, while the quantity demanded of JIC will drop. Okay, let me just show you an example. So we are saying that it is the demand for two goods, A and B. Take note of that. It is very, very important. Okay, we say it is the demand. Let me put it down. It is the demand Okay, it's on the board, sorry. It is the demand for two goods, A and B, so that an increase in the price of A will lead to an increase, okay, will lead to an increase in the quantity demanded of B and vice versa. Okay, we say an increase in price of A will lead to what? Increase in quantity demanded of what? Of B. Okay? And also a decrease in the price of B, okay, will also now lead to what now? If B decreases price, it will lead to what? A decrease in the price, okay, sorry, in the quantity demanded, rather, in the quantity demanded of what now? Of B. It's as simple as ABC, vice versa, okay? So an increase in the price of A will lead to an increase in the quantity demanded of B, okay? An increase in the price of B, okay, so a decrease in the price of B will lead to a decrease in the quantity demanded of B, okay? So let us just use one graph to explain this. All right, so let us see quantity A. Quantity A, all right? So this is quantity A, for example, all right? This is A. You know, this is our price, this is what our quantity demanded, okay? So price was here, for example, okay? Price was here initially. This is P naught, this is our O. Let's say this is what? P1, and then this is what? P2. When price was what? P1, okay? Let's say they demanded what? 50, okay? But when price got to what? P2, all right? Quantity demanded what? Reduced. Okay, if this is our slope, like this, when price was down P2, the quantity demanded what will reduce. Okay, it reduces. Let's say it goes to 40. All right, you can see the decrease in the what? In the quantity demanded from 50 to 40 when price what? Increased to what? To P2. All right, when it was P1, the quantity demanded was 50. When it was P2, it was what now? 40. All right, so there's a decrease. You can see there's a decrease, okay, in the what? In the quantity demanded of commodity A. But what will now be to commodity B now, which is a close substitute to commodity A. Okay, so I'm going to have this. Okay, so when the price, yes, your P, your 0, okay, but yes, let's say yes, what your P1. Okay, so now, you know, remember the price of what? Commodity B is not actually changing. Okay, it was commodity A that increased price. So now, if this is the first one, okay, for example, let's say initially before commodity A increased price, let's say this is what the quantity demanded of commodity B. Okay, let us say it's 30. Okay, but when what? So you see this will be what our graph here. Okay, this will be our curve rather. Now, but when A increase price, okay, if they increase price, you see that what the quantity demanded of what? Of commodity B will increase. Okay, here will now be 50. So we now have something like this again. All right. So now you can see the increase from 30 to 50. Yeah, you can see the decrease from what? 50 to what? To 40. So there will be what? There will be a decrease. Okay. Once one commodity A increases prices, there will be what? A decrease. Okay, in the what? In the quantity demanded of commodity A, and a corresponding increase in the quantity demanded or commodity what? B. It's as simple as A, B, C. Please understand. If you have any question, drop it in the comment section. Okay, now let us go. Now, let us look at the another definition for commodity demand is what? Is the demand for commodity that excludes another. Okay, we say it is the demand for a commodity, demand for a commodity that excludes another. Okay, so that is what competitive demand. Okay, so it excludes what? The other one. Since let's say two commodities A and B. Okay, because what now? People were going for A before. A increased price, so people will leave A. It will exclude A now and go for B. Okay, so it's demand for a commodity that excludes another. Please take note of that. Understand how what illustrated it with the graph. I'll go. Now let us go to the fourth example. The fourth type rather of demand, which is of course the joint or the complementary demand. Okay. Okay. Now for joint or complementary demand, we say it is demand for two commodities that are used together to satisfy a particular want. Okay, it is what? The demand for two commodities used together to satisfy a particular want. For this joint or complementary demand, okay, the two commodities are what? They go together. You cannot use one without the other. Okay, so let us explain this with an example. Okay, an example of a joint or complementary demand is your phone and your SIM card. Okay, so can you use your phone without your SIM card? No, they go together. Okay, so that what now? They are what? They are joints. They complement each other. Okay, we call it complementary or what? Joint what? Demand. All right. So another very good example, as you may know, it is what? Is your book and pen. Another example is like your stove and kerosene. Okay, another example is your car and fuel. An example is what? Your fish and chips. Okay, another example is what? Your smartphone and apps on the phone. Okay, so these are examples of what now? Of complementary what? Demand. They go together. Okay, they go together. You cannot use one without the other. But what is the effect of this? The effect of this is that an increase in the price of what? Of one, okay, of a commodity. If you have two commodities, A and B, that are joint or complementary, an increase in the price of A, for example, will lead to a decrease in the quantity demanded of B. Okay, it will lead to a decrease in the quantity demanded of B. Okay, so joint or complementary demand is the what? The demand for what? For goods, okay, that what? Include what? Another. That include one another. That they include one another. All right. So take note of what? Of that. So we say here that these ones that what? They are complementary. They are joint. Okay. Say the demand for two commodities used together to satisfy a particular want. And I've told you that what? That an increase. If you have two commodities A and B that are joint or complementary, increase in the price of A, okay, will lead to what? To decrease in the quantity demanded of what? Of B. Let's use car and fuel, for example, now. All right. So now, if car is very expensive, very expensive, all right, how many people will be driving car? Fewer people, right? So that will now mean that what now? Because car cannot work without fuel, all right? So now, if few people are driving car, will fuel be selling very well? No. So quantity demanded of fuel will be reducing also, all right? So also is if fuel is very expensive, how many people will be driving car? Now, with the current situation in the country, with the current hike of what petrol pump prices, okay, you can already see the effect. The cars on our highways are fewer than before. People are parking their cars in the house and they are using public buses because they can no longer what? Afford it. All right. So that is what happened. They are complementary. An increase in the price of one will lead to decrease in the quantity demanded of the other, and vice versa. Please take note of that. We say it is the demand for what? For commodities that include one another. They include one another. All right. Okay. So take note of all that. That is what those are the four types of demand we are going to look at. If you have any question, please drop it in the comment section. Now let us go to the O3 School JAMB app, answer the questions we have before us, and we leave. 2006 number 16. They say derived demand is normally used with reference to, I'm sure you already know the answer. A says superior goods, B inferior goods, C the cost of production, D the factors of production. Correct answer is the factors of production. Now, they say 2002 number 2, they say the demand for factors of production is an example of A says joint demand, B say competitive, C say derived, D say composite. Okay, correct answer there is what is derived demand. There are so many questions on demand, on types of demand on the app. Just search for what? Demand, and all the questions on that demand will come out for you to answer. Okay, so thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next episode where we'll still keep on talking about demand, the theory of demand.